All right, so the screen share was, so there's some of the useful things that we need in terms of additional resources. And when we go down here to week 2, for example, and I've bypassed some of the questions in week 1, again we see 3 questions, a lot of answers, but people have dropped off in terms of numbers, so please keep up the discipline. Some of the questions become a little more difficult. How is power shared by federal, state and local governments? If one was abolished, why? It's really just to get you thinking about what it is that each of the levels of government do, and then come up with an idea of which one we don't need. Or you may say we need them all, or you may say, well, we don't need 3, we need 4 rather than 2. The doctrine of responsible government is important, deals with the separation of powers issues, and you do need to read about and understand at a basic level the issues to do with separation of powers. Exercise 4.2 deals with political power since federation, and that's generally shifted from the states to the Commonwealth, and that's true. Let's see if anyone has offered an answer in terms of 4.2. Adnan has got an answer there. No, sorry, we'll go back. In fact, I'll stop the share. All right, so do make sure that you have a look at those questions, provide your responses, and go from there. All right, we're running out of time, but are there any questions that people want to ask of a more general nature? Because I have liked having the interactive nature of this evening's session. Are there any? Okay, so are there problems in relation to the content in the textbook? I don't think there are any problems about the textbook. Hannah, was there something that you had in particular in mind?
I was just like the problems on the Moodle. Like, is that is that related to the content in the chapters that we read each week?
Yeah, they do a bit. I remember having this when I did Introduction to Law, I mean, so many years ago, and I was surprised I went straight from school to law school, and I was really surprised that the expectation in law is that you look beyond the textbook. So having broad reading is important, and you will find, I think, most of the answers in a general sense in the textbook, but not necessarily so. I know that's a very vague answer.
No, that makes sense. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. In terms of what we should know this week, you should now have an idea of what we mean by common law and equity from last week, and you should have an idea of common law versus legislation, common law being used in different senses. You should have your ideas together in terms of the assignment, and I take it everyone's had a look at what I call my sample document, which I think I've called it an assessment guide. I had planned to look at that tonight. I'm not sure if we need to. Has everyone had a look at that? Yeah, I think most people probably have. So make sure that you have a look at that and get a general idea of what it is that we're after. If you're really struggling with information about sources of law in Australia, one good place you can look is the Parliamentary Education Office. It's got a website which has excellent information, and www.peo.gov.au, Parliamentary Education Office. It's got some learning and fact sheets. For example, there's one there on separation of powers that's very good. All right, we might just leave it at that. We're getting pretty close to time. Before I sign off for this evening, are there any questions? Is anyone really struggling, or are we're all doing okay now? All right, that's very good. Okay, well, thank you for joining us this evening. Thank you for your interaction, your comments, questions. Thank you very much to those that are assisting with others by posting material. And I encourage you to do that. Share your material, answer each other's queries. I'll monitor the situation. Everything looks really good to me so far. Okay. All the best, and we'll see you next week. Bye for now.